I was raised pretty much most of my life in Idaho, and up here in the Wood River Valley from mid-grade school on, and I've always considered Idaho home and love being an Idahoan. I was an athlete at a young age. I had an accident which left me paralyzed, but went on and was able to compete in 3 different Paralympic Games in 2 sports, winning 7 medals. So I guess for me why I'm running is that this is a special place. I love Idaho. We moved back here because I wanted my daughter to know how wonderful a state is and have the opportunity to grow up in this special place. But I've also noticed a lot of changes since when I was a kid growing up. And I am determined to make sure that we can make Idaho as great as I know it can be, and as what it was and where I want to see us go. So, you know, I think everyone deserves the opportunity to have access to affordable, accessible health care. Our legislatures had 6 years to try and solve that coverage gap problem, and they have been unable to do so. And I don't think that's right. That's not fair for Idahoans. Most of them are working Idahoans, and some are veterans or caregivers for veterans or people with disabilities that, you know, are one illness, one injury away from losing everything, and that's not right. That's just not what a civil society does. So I want to try and make change there. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I want our education system to be the best it can be. And while the legislature claims they've been making progress, we're still at the bottom of all the scrolls. So, you know, I would love to see, we'll have new leadership, we'll have a new governor this year. I would love to see whoever's in office there create a vision for Idaho. I feel when I was growing up, I knew what we stood for, I knew where our vision was. I don't feel we've had that for a while. So I would love to see a vision for who we are and where we are going as a state and what our values are. And then I'd love to go to Boise and help create that and craft that and make that vision become a reality. I want to fight for finding solutions for Idaho families to make it so that we can all have the best lives we deserve.
Absolutely. And what do you think is a preferred solution when it comes to the public school system? What are Idaho schools lacking, and how can the legislature step up and help?
I would say there are a couple of different issues. I believe that we need the whole spectrum. We need to fund pre-K all the way through, whether it be vocational training or 4-year. We need to make sure that we are giving our kids, more of our kids are coming into kindergarten unprepared, not below the national reading level, at least 40% are. I mean, we are just not preparing our kids because whether it be not access to preschool, not access to affordable preschool or a quality preschool. So we need to start there, and we need to follow it all the way through. On the second level, I think we need to fund our teachers better. We are hemorrhaging our teachers to our nearby states where they can make up to 40% and 50% more just by crossing a state line. And our kids deserve better. If we expect Idaho, which is the fastest growing state in the nation, to have a well-skilled workforce for the future, we need to invest in that. And we need to find ways, and there are creative ways. I'm not saying I want more government, but I'm saying we need better government, and we need to find better solutions to answer those problems.
Yeah, and how would the state pay for some of those programs?
Well, a start could be not offering such big tax cuts like we did last year, which 80% went to corporations that are out of the state, home base is out of the state of Idaho. Nothing against the tax cuts. If that had happened, if that's what they decided, I think we need to make sure that the money stays in Idaho, so it doesn't leave Idaho. So there's one way there. We invest in our future. Since 1996, we have not been passing great legislation. We've been passing legislation that's unconstitutional, and then we've been having to defend it through our Constitutional Defense Fund, and we've been wasting millions each year on this bad law, bad legislation that we haven't been able. We can save millions of dollars there. There are a lot of creative solutions. I don't have all the answers, but I want to sit down in the room and start debating and finding those solutions. And I want to reach across the aisle. I want to work with anyone in Idaho that's willing to find these solutions to these hard problems.
And what is your stance on Proposition 2, which is the ballot measure to expand Medicaid?
I believe we Idahoans deserve our legislature to find a solution for that coverage gap. And so I am in support of passing it. I believe that if the people vote, it's on the ballot. If the majority of Idahoans vote to expand Medicaid and to pass that, I will, and I'm elected, I will fight to make sure that we find the resources. I don't think Idaho can afford not to expand Medicaid. All of the fiscal policies that have shown is that in the long run it can be savings, $15 million a year of savings. We can't continue to go in the way we are with our catastrophic funds constantly being depleted, and our indigent care, and our rural hospitals, our are in dire needs of support and help, and this is one way that we can make that happen for the individuals and for our rural hospitals.
And what other issues have come up in your contacts with voters in District 26 as you've been out, campaigning this fall?
Well, a big issue, I mean, a lot of what brings so many of us here up in the Wood River Valley, but even just our whole district to Idaho, is our access to our public lands and our amazing public lands. And I want to fight to keep that, to preserve it, so that my granddaughter's granddaughter has these amazing resources and has a scenic wilderness that we love, and has the environment that is healthy, and it's what brought us here, and it's what keeps a lot of people here. And my opponent has introduced legislation that has been kind of a veiled land grab to take federal lands into state hands, and we just can't afford to do that. We can't afford it. First fire would bankrupt us. So we need to make sure that those federal lands are protected and stay in public hands.
Absolutely. Well, anything else that you'd like to tell voters in District 26?
Just that it would be an honor to serve, and that I am a passionate person, and I have learned through my life, through my disability and my other challenges, on how to set long-range goals and find solutions, even when you get a curveball, to accomplishing that. And I would be honored to go to Boise and to work with all people there to find those solutions, so that we can make everyone's life here in Idaho the best it can be.